Okay, so Be'ezras Hashem, we're continuing with our weekly shir of the Zohar on the Torah, the Zohar on the Parsha, and we're entering into part of the Zohar Kadosh, the Medrash HaNe'elam, which is going to illuminate for us a certain element of Yitzchak's life. But it's going to be an element of Yitzchak's life that is not necessarily apparent to us at first. Yitzchak, on the one hand, represents the tzimtzum, the contraction or the apparent removal of a Kadosh Baruch Hu's light, the darkening of the light, the minimization of the light, the application of boundaries and borders and measurements, and the eventual emergence of the difficult and negative symptoms, which are the dinim, which are the judgments that emerge through the infinite chain of expression from all the way above down below, from the secret of the Gevuros. That HaKadosh Baruch Hu applies a certain constriction so that there can be something other than godliness. And this entire process of the constriction, the tzimtzum, and its development downwards to the point that it congeals into what appears to be distance and darkness, all of this is associated with the life of Yitzchak Avinu, the pachad of Yitzchak. Yitzchak is the semel of gevura, of severity, from the tippy top of the order of Hishtalshalos down to the lowest iteration. Yitzchak, as the Zohar HaKadosh refers to as Laila and Choshech and Torah Shebal Peh, and concealment that gives birth to revelation. All of the processes of Yitzchak Avinu are associated with a darkening, the tzimtzum. Yet on the other hand, in Pnimiyas HaTorah, especially in the Beis Medrash of the Gra, and especially in the writings of the Ramchal, and especially in the writings of the Leshem, we find that while Yitzchak represents concealment and tzimtzum and the application of limit, it also represents the point of emergence where things develop strength and they intensify and they grow in force. And the perpetual movement that is created by the separation and the friction developed by separate parts that create a warmth in between those two separate parts that creates an emergence of something new, and that perpetual never-ending movement and motivation upwards that takes place in the burning expression of the Gevuros. These pockets of concealment and the intensity that come about as a result of them is the place, it's the incubator of growth, the development of a new expression of a Kadosh Baruch Hu's light, a renewed expression of revelation, a renewed expression of goodness, a renewed expression of grace and expansivity and unlimitedness. And so when it comes to the concept of Yitzchak, the secret of Yitzchak, we're always encountering not only a contradiction of terms, but the paradox of all paradox, of how on the one hand, concealment can lead to revelation on the other hand, of how darkness gives birth to light, of how measurements and limitation allow the unlimited and the unmeasurable to express itself with even more intensity, how the grace of Avraham, the unlimited goodness of Avraham, can only be revealed through the limiting vessels and the limiting space that is provided by Yitzchak. Now, this paradox at the heart of Yitzchak, the he'elem that is the gilui, the concealment that is the revelation, is also why Yitzchak is the birthplace of laughter. Because the laughter of Yitzchak, as we said, is not something that appears to be funny or calm or kind or easy, but rather it is the laughter that emerges from a confrontation with the incongruity at the heart of all things, with the impossibility of grasp, with the sudden departure from the expected and the sudden revelation of that which was unexpected, and the transformation of one thing from the other and the other to the other, that creates this orientation towards a laughter that is emergent out of a cracking up, a realization that what I thought I knew is not so much what actually is, but rather it was just a havamina. And when we took a havamina very, very seriously, as if it was the maskana, so then when we come to realize that our assumed maskana is only a havamina, so there's a certain laughter that erupts at that place. Yitzhak is the laughter, the schleik that emerges from within the paradoxical unity between concealment and revelation, between difficulty and ease, between darkness and light, between death and life. Yitzchak, his name represents Kates Chai, life and death, limit and unlimited, presence and absence, potential and actualization. All of these paradoxes are contained within the minimal space of Yitzchak. That's why Yitzchak Avinu is the Av that's going to come to be there for us at the end of days, when Hashem is going to have a hard time, so to speak, finding merit for the nation of Israel. It's going to specifically be Yitzchak who takes ownership and stands up with that severity and that strength and says, Hashem, you have created them as well. You've created them with their Yetzirah. You've created them, and you're responsible as well. And therefore, let's both take responsibility. And when we both take responsibility, me and you, says Yitzchak to God, then Klal Yisrael is going to have the ability to stand up. And at that point, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to bring Mashiach in the schus of Yitzchak, and there's going to be the emergence of the laughter of Mashiach, v'tischak liyom acharon, the incongruous nature of the revelation of light from within the pockets of darkness that each and every one of us go through in the Yitzchak moments of our lives. And Klal Yisrael is going to say, Ki ata avinu, Yitzchak Avinu, you're the one. You were the one who was there for us. Avada Avram was there for us. Avada Yaakov was there for us. But you in the Gevura, you never needed to change your name. Avram needed to become more. Yaakov needed to become more. Yitzchak never needed to change in order to be who he was. And that secret of being who we are, in spite of the fact that we don't feel like we are, that's the secret that carries us into redemption. And the Zohar Kadosh begins by talking about Tchias HaMesim, the secret of Tchias HaMesim, the biggest stroke imaginable, the biggest reversal imaginable, where death, where absence, where deficiency, where voided nature is going to suddenly be revealed to be alive. It's going to be revealed to be vital. It's going to be revealed to be emergent at every moment. And all that we thought was gone was, in fact, just in the incubation process of cultivating itself to reveal itself with even more intensity. That secret of V'tischak liyom acharon. That's why the bracha of Tchias HaMesim is the second bracha corresponding to the Gevur of Yitzchak. Yitzchak is the secret of Tchias HaMesim, because Sarah couldn't have Yitzchak, and Sarah encountered hopelessness over having Yitzchak. But it's specifically from within the hopelessness that Sarah Imenu had about having Yitzchak that Yitzchak emerges in the secret of Ein Shem Yesh Ba'ilam Klal. That even after the Yesh, Yitzchak is born, and that's the secret of the sudden reversal, of the Tzimtzum, which is the apparent Yesh of it all, and the revelation of light within the Tzimtzum, which is the secret of that even though there's a Tzimtzum, nevertheless there's no Tzimtzum. And that's the secret of Ein Shem Yesh Ba'ilam Klal. The Tzimtzum makes it feels like there could be a Tzimtzum, that there could be a Yesh. The secret of revealing light within the Tzimtzum is revealing that Ein Shem Yesh B'Olam Klal. And Yitzchak Avinu is the paradox of the Tzimtzum, as Rabbeinu tells us in Torah 64, that Hinunei mivi lecha arbe machar begvulecha, that Hashem says to Paro, tomorrow, la'asid lavo, when it comes time to understand those unanswerable things, that paradox at the heart of all things. I'm going to bring arbe, I'm going to bring the makkah of locusts into your gvul, into your place. Paro is the lashon of Gilui. Paro is the lashon of the Chalal HaPanui, the place of emptiness, that place of Yitzchak without the revelatory process of Yitzchak. And Hashem says, I'm going to reveal the secret of Tzimtzum within the Gvul of the Chalal HaPanui. And what's the secret of Tzimtzum? The secret of Yitzchak is the gematria of Arba. Arba is the gematria of Yitzchak, because Arba is the secret of a locust. And the secret of a locust is the secret of the original Tzimtzum, which is like the exoskeleton of the locust, whose external shell emerges from within itself. Like the locust whose exoskeleton emerges from within itself. The secret of Tzimtzum is the application of limit from within the unlimited itself, to the degree that the emergence of the limitation is in fact nothing other than an externalized iteration of the unlimited itself, so that when I encounter Tzimtzum and Yitzchak and the difficulty, immediately I'm touching upon and grasping the most potent form of the expression of the infinite light, which is the secret of its capacity to be mitzamsem itself. That's the secret of Misa, that's the secret of Yitzchak, that's the secret of the Tzimtzum. And that's the secret of Arba, which means more. It's specifically from within the concealment that moreness is going to emerge. And in the bracha of Tchias HaMesim, which the Leshem Shema V'Chaloma tells us, it's not simply something that happens in the future, but rather it's something that's happening at each and every moment in a person's life, each and every moment of existence. At every fiber of existence, there is something that is emerging from destruction into rebuilding, from tohu into tikkun, from concealment into revelation, from negative into positive. The perpetual ascension of all things, in spite of the fact that things appear to be descending externally. That's the secret of Yitzchak Avinu. And keeping that secret, guarding that secret of Tchias HaMesim, of the Etzem Haluz, of the ability to regrow again from within concealment itself, from within absence itself, is what has kept us going all along in exile. That's the secret of Ki'ata Avinu. And this is why Yitzchak is the secret of Vayizra Yitzchak Besada, that Yitzchak plants in the field. What's planting? Planting is an act of destruction. I take the seed from a place of where it's vital, and I allow it to destroy itself and descend into nothingness and disintegrate within the ground itself. And it's an act of emunah. Zra'im is emunah. Why? Because I'm trusting that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to let something unexpected emerge from that place. From within the destruction is going to be born an emergence that we could have never, ever imagined. And so the Zohar HaKadosh opens up in the Medrash HaNe'elam with the conversation about the future, the conversation about Tchias HaMesim, a conversation about rebirth. Amar Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda says, Amar Rav, in the name of Rav, secret of Malchus. Yehuda is Malchus. Yehuda is always Dalus. It's the Shem Havaya with the Dalid. It represents Malchus. It represents this worldly experience. Asir HaKadosh Baruch Hu l'smoyach ba'oisay zman im hatzadikim, that in the future when HaKadosh Baruch Hu reveals himself, in the time of Viyas HaMashiach, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to find joy and take joy with the tzaddikim. Lahashrei shchinaso imahem, to allow his shchina to rest within the tzaddikim. It's not that the tzaddikim are going to go up into Shemayim and experience the simcha of escaping this world to live in the simcha of Shemayim, but rather it's the simcha of Shemayim coming down to live with us in the struggle of this world, in the struggle of what it means to be a tzaddik, or to try and be a tzaddik. That HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to be Mashra Ishchina on the tzaddikim down below. That's the Gilui La'asid. On the bodies of the tzaddikim, on the bodies of Nishmas Yisrael. In the Dir B'tachtonim. V'hakol Yismachu, and everybody will be happy. It's not enough that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will be happy. Everybody, all of the complications of this worldliness will be joyous. That's where the joy emerges from. They'll be joyous, but also simcha. With the simcha of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the simcha of above is going to be revealed down below in the future. That's the tachlis. This is what the pasuk means when it says Yismach Hashem b'ma'asav, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you are going to find joy with your actions themselves, the world of Maisa. The Ikar is the Maisa. Ratza HaKadosh Baruch Hu lios lo dira b'tachtonim. HaKadosh Baruch Hu desired to create the world because he wanted to express his infinite light within the nether realms. As the Medrash says that Lamah Mashal Doime, HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world. The metaphor is like a king who decided to bring his palace on a garbage can, in a garbage pile. HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted to reveal himself in the lowest place imaginable because it's specifically within the confines of containment, the extension of the apparent simsum of Yitzchak Avinu, that where HaKadosh Baruch Hu reveals himself, it's going to animate not only the light, but the darkness itself. That the farther and farther down the tzimtzum goes, the lower and lower the dir b'tachtonim, the lower and lower the kav or in sof descends down, the higher and higher the illumination that comes about when we transform those low places into the light of a seat and a resting place for the light of the Shekhinah HaKadosha for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's the secret of Yismach Hashem b'ma'asav, in the Maisa, the lowest part of ourselves, our bodies. Amar Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda, again, Malchus says, Malchus is excited to say this because this is the space of Malchus. Malchus is the fullest expression of the Tzimtzum and the Gevuros. Asidim hatzadikim ba'oisoy zman livroya oilamois ulhachyos mesim. In the future, the tzadikim are going to be able to create worlds and they're going to be able to rejuvenate the dead. Livroya oilamo, says the Hakdama to the Tkunes, to the Zohar, says that Rabbi Elazar was talking to his father, Rabbi Shimon, and Rabbi Shimon said to his son, be careful because with your words you will build worlds above. In the secret of Klal Yisrael and the work that we do, having an impact above in every thought, word, action, process, defense mechanism that we develop in this worldliness, in the world of Rabbi Yehuda, in the world of Malchus, in the world of Misa, we're going to create new worlds that we're going to be able to be matayil in with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The secret of Boira Ilamos, where our thoughts become real places, like the Ma'amarim of the Tzaddikim. When a Maimer is written by a Tzaddik of Chabad, their thoughts became a world. And when we enter into their world, we read their Maimer, we're accessing the world that these Tzaddikim created. So too for us. And we'll also be able to be Machaya Mesim, to rejuvenate all of those things that were lost, to rejuvenate all of that which appeared to be a descent, all that which appered to be difficult. Amrle Rabbi Yossi comes along. Rabbi Yossi is the secret of the Gevuros within Malchus. The Gevuros within Malchus, because Yossi is the Gematria of 86. And so when Malchus speaks about the secret of Malchus being Oile in the Asid and all of the Gevura and the concealment and Yitzchak Avinu being revealed to be the site of revelation of Yossi, which is the secret of the Gevuros, he says, V'hatanan, but doesn't it say, Ein kol chadash tachas hashemesh? We can't actually recreate something new. We're deficient. There's Gevuros. That the concealment of Yitzchak, the severity of Yitzchak, the darkness of Yitzchak, the laughter of Yitzchak, It can't create anew. It can't reveal the potentiation and the growth that comes about from difficulty. Because in the end of the day, it's not the Shemesh. And relative to the Shemesh, so the Gevuros of Malchus are going to seem to be so low. And yeah, Yitzchak's Gevura might be great, but the Chesed of Avram is ultimately going to be much greater. So Rav Yossi highlighting on the Gevuros within Malchus, saying in spite of the fact that Malchus is going to go all the way up, nevertheless, Ein Chadash Tachas HaShemesh. And so the Gevuros come to Malchus and they say, we can't fully ascend upwards. But Malchus responds and it says, Amar le Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda says, Tashma, come and see, Ba'oit Shaharishayim, Ba'oilam v'yirbu. Koil ha'oilam in a bakim. Kshat tzadikim ba'oilam, azeh ha'oilam mitkayim va'asidim l'hachiyos mis. So Rabbi Yehuda says that the problem, Rabbi Yossi, the problem when the Gevuros want to say that Malchus, Yitzchak, Gevura can't become the site of revelation and that we can't draw joy from that place of severity. Rabbi Yehuda says that's because there are sha'im in the world, and there's fighting in the world, and the entire nature of the world is not developed and sustained in the way that it should be. Because ideally the world should be created in din, because din is the clarity that nothing needs to be done. Din is the absolute revelation of that which is. The secret of the laughter, the sha'ashuim that are taking shape from within every fabric of existence and every experience itself is an Akedah, and it's a makom of encountering the deepest place of Yediyah and Bechira. That's the secret of Yitzchak Avinu. That all the person has to do is dig, and if it's covered, then move a little bit more and dig again. If it's covered, don't fight, but move more and dig until you find Rechov Nahar, until that innermost point of Bina in the heart opens up to the infinitude of Keser itself, which is descending into the mind at every moment. That light is only blackened in this world when the Rishayim are in the world, when they misuse the concealment, when they misuse this element of the Gevuros and the laughter of Yitzchak, where they misuse this hyper focus on Olam Ha'asiyah, God forbid. But Kishat Tzadikim Ba'olam, but when the Tzadikim are in the world and the Tzadikim just want to do good, they want to do more good. Od Yoter Tov, to reveal more and more of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's light. And dealing with the tzimtzum of Yitzchak is never for the sake of darkness, but it's always for the sake of reverberating more and more. And Rav Yehuda is saying to Rav Yossi that the Gevuros themselves, the secret of Malchus, can be Ola all the way up to the top. And we don't have to be always afraid of the Gevuros, because the only issue is the Rishayim. When the tzaddikim, and every yid is a big tzaddik, and every yid is revealed to be a tzaddik, then we'll have the ability of asidim l'hachiyos mesim. Kedamrinan, as it's written, Oid yeshvu zekenim v'zekenos b'rechoves Yerushalayim v'ish mash'anto biyado meroiv yomim. That we know in the future it's going to be said that there's going to be the secret of Tchias HaMesim, that an old man and an old woman are going to be sitting in Yerushalayim, in the streets of Yerushalayim, in the Rechovas Anar of Yerushalayim, in that secret place where Malchus is Oile to Yerushalayim Shalmala, and it's the secret of Hamtakas Adinim B'Sharoshim, where we get rid of the dinim from Malchus and we go all the way back up to that place of Bina, to that place of Yitzchak, in the Rechovas of Yerushalayim, V'ish Mish'anto Biyado, and each man will have his Mish'anto, his stick, his walking stick, Meirov Yamim, because of the elongation of days, as it's written over there. So what's amazing about this Giloy is that Rabbi Yehuda Malchus is saying to Rabbi Yossi, who are the Gevuros, when Rabbi Yehuda is saying in the future, the Guf, the Maisa, the concealment of Yitzchak Avinu, the Tzimtzum, all of these things are going to be revealed to be the true sites of revelation. All of those things are going to be revealed to be the true point in which HaKadosh Baruch Hu revealed his light. And Rabbi Yossi, the Gevuros, says, no, it's always going to be stuck in Tzimtzum. It can't be the source of rebuilding or regrowth, because Ein Chadash Tachas HaShemesh, and you need the light of Chesed to be within the Gevura. And what Rabbi Yehuda is saying is that don't think, Rabbi Yossi, the Gevuros think that Malchus doesn't want Chesed. And that's when the Rishonim are in the world, where they see the darkness and they say, there's no light. We have to live in the darkness. We have to utilize the darkness. It has to be a tzabrachenkeit. It has to be a broken thing. It has to be never reaching, etc. It has to be desire. That's the Rishonim dealing with Malchus and not understanding the secret of light that lives hidden within Malchus itself, which is the secret of Chesed Debayim Kol Yuma, the secret of Avram Avinu. Avram Hoilidas Yitzchak. The tachlis of all things is Avram Avinu. Nobody ever forgot that. Nobody wants to forget that. Only the Rishayim want to make us think we're going to forget that and be afraid of the Torah of Yitzchak. And Memela, in the future, when we're in the Rechovas of Yerushalayim and the secret of Bina, Bezuchucha, which is the Aliyah of Yerushalayim Shalmata, back up to Yerushalayim Shalmala, which is the secret of Bina B'Sharasho, which is Magalim, more and more of the Chachma itself, the secret of Eved Halevihu. In that place, even then, each person is going to be sitting with their walking stick because of the elongation of days. The walking stick represents the fact that even in the Zman of Tchias HaMesim, there's still going to be a need for support. The body will always need support. The body will never be the soul. In spite of the fact that the body will be refined to a degree that it's going to be like the soul, that also means that the soul is going to be refined to reveal that what we have now is just like a soul also. That no matter what, no matter how valuable the darkness, the body, the kli is, it's always there just to reveal more of the neshama, more of the light, more of the illumination. And so even the body is going to have its tchia, and Malchus is going to have its tchia. And Rabbi Yehuda explains to Rav Yossi, Malchus explains to the Gvuros why it doesn't have to be so afraid. Nevertheless, the secret of Malchus is that it understands that it still needs its meshanto, it still needs its yesoid, it still needs its walking stick, it's still mevutto b'tachlis habitol, to the infinite light that is coming into it at each moment to reveal that it's just a kli. And that the body, yes, it's going to keep score in the future, but it's going to continue to keep score for the neshama, which is always higher than the body. And that no matter what level of perfection emerges at that time of Tchias HaMesim and the elongation of age, there will still be a need for a walking stick. There will still be a need for recognizing our deficiency. There will still be a need for the Gevurus of Yitzchak. So Rabbi Yehuda is not saying, no, Rav Yossi, there's no room for the Gevuros in the future of Malchus because it's going to be oiled to the highest place. Adarabba, the Gevuros are already nichlal and built into the very secret of the Malchus. And the only issue with that is that the Rishonim want to come and make us think that we're going to misuse these ideas. When in truth, when it's only tzaddikim, this idea allows us to perpetually grow and reach the top, and then to come to realize that, oh, reaching the top only means that I have to grow even more in the infinite process of Kedushasi L'malim Mikdushasechem. This is the secret of in Tchias HaMesim, bimumim yivra'u, that when a person is redeemed from death and a person is going to emerge again in their body, they're going to emerge with the same blemishes of the body, the same issues, the same cuts and bruises. Why? Because that's how we're going to be able to identify each other. And Zakta Heilige Seid Yisharim, that's what it means, that it's the processing, it's the concealment, it's the Yitzchak Avinu of it all. It's the process of Malchus and all of that concealment that leads up to the revelation, that all of the concealment was nothing other than the seed of revelation that is going to give us a taste of the revelation itself. If revelation is just pure revelation without any build-up towards revelation, which is rooted in the opposite of revelation, which is concealment, then when a revelation comes, it doesn't have a vessel to lay itself upon. But when a person is yearning for revelation over and over and over from within a place of concealment, then every moment of longing that is cultivated in the place of concealment has become a kli, has become a vessel, a body that enables the light and the ruach and the nefesh and the neshama of that new level of expression to come down and express itself. The body becomes the site of the tchiyah. As the Baal HaSulam says, the mum is the etzem haluz, is the secret of Yitzchak Avinu. That secret, irreducible point of the body that rejuvenates, that Evan Masu Abanam Haisel Pina, that Nakuda Katana, Shayra Daka Ne'elama, that hidden innermost tiny black dot that has no expansion or no elongation, but rather represents the thing in itself to the degree that we have to bend over ourselves and fold over into ourselves, like Kaden Kamsa de Levushim Yubei, being makabets on ourselves, like Rabbi Nachman describes in Torah Kuf Samach Gimel, of what happens when a person is cold and they have no one to talk to, that the body tries to warm itself. And it's like the symptom of a person contracting into themselves to reveal more of themselves. This is going to be the secret of the Giloy of La'aseh Lavo. We're still going to need the luz. We're still going to need the mishanto. And at that time of the future, Yasigu Hatzadikim Das Shlema. The tzaddikim are going to be masig a das shalim. What is a das shalim? The Rebbe is only talking about das these days. Das shalim is the yichud of das elyon and das tachton, not just das elyon, not just being above in the light of chesed, but being below also in the world of gevura, being malchus and keser at the same time. Das shalim is the unification of the body and the soul, the unification of the paradox, the secret that Yitzchak Avinu has always already known, and the revelation that it's been Yitzchak who has given us the strength to move forward with the secret hiding place of this revelation. There'll be masig das. The das is the luz. It's Tchias HaMesim. It connects the neshama and the body. The Rabbi Yossi and the Gevuros now come to understand. Rabbi Yossi says now, after understanding properly what Rabbi Yehuda was telling him, Biyuma diyachta kutchabrichu bu'uvdayu zimnin inun sadikaya lemindale belibeihoin ukedein yisku saklunusa belibeihon keilu chazile ba'ena. One of my favorite paragraphs, one of my favorite lines in the Zohar Kadosh. That Rabbi Yossi says, I now understand, because Rabbi Yossi understands that the Gvura is never going to be forgotten, because there's always going to be Gvura. And we're never going to mistake Yitzchak for being the Tachlis of all things, because the Tachlis is Avram, the Tachlis is Chesed. But the Kli of Yitzchak is going to be what enables us to reveal the Tachlis of the light of Chesed. So now that Rabbi Yossi, after understanding the role of the Gvuros, because Yossi is Gematria 86 within Malchus, which is the secret of the Manda Amar of Rabbi Yehuda, so now Rabbi Yossi says, I understand that in the future, on that day of Tchias HaMesim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to be misyachid with the things that he has made, the oilam ha'asir, mamish of it, the dir betachtoinim, the ashpa, the garbage of it all. Zeminin inan tzadikayu lemindale behon, that the tzadikim are going to know it in their hearts, in their bina, in the inner interiority of the heart of their mind, which is the secret of itroseim birosheim. It's not the crown upon the head, it's the crown within the head. It's makom of hasaga that we have access to nowadays, and the secret of the Nahar Hayotzim Ye'eden, and the secret of the emergence of Alma Da'asi, of the world that is perpetually arriving and melting into our minds at every moment. And they're going to come to know wisdom in their hearts. The Chachma is going to be nimshach down into the Bina. The Toldos of Avram are Yitzchak itself. There's going to be a yichud between the mind and the heart. And what's going to happen there? It's going to be as if they saw him with their eyes. We're talking about the future. We're talking about the tikkun. Why is it still only as if? Because the secret of Bina, which is the gematria of Ki'ilu, is the recognition that no matter what a masig, no matter how high the body is, nevertheless, the soul is always going to perpetually be overcoming the body's refinement, and the secret of Kedushasi L'malam Kedushaseichem, which is the Iker Pachad that we have when we're learning the Torah of Yitzchak. The Torah of Yitzchak is the Torah of Bina, it's the Torah of Tzimtzum, it's the Torah of darkness, it's the Torah of the Ani, it's the Torah of the Guf, it's the Torah of this worldliness, and we know the secret is that it's specifically through all of these lower elements that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to reveal the most fundamental expression, and when we come to realize that Hashem is found here as well, we come to realize how profound HaKadosh Baruch Hu's illumination is. But if a person only focuses on that part of it without understanding the Chachma, without understanding the Ayin, without understanding the Chesed and the Rachamim and the Avram Avinu and the Chai Katov Lahetiv and the goodness and the Baruch Sha'amar B'Haya Ha'olam and the light of it all, then a person is, God forbid, going to come and take the Ani and place it as the highest thing, because that's where HaKadosh Baruch Hu reveals himself most intensely. And Avad, it's true, he reveals himself there most intensely, but the Tachlis is always going to be the Ayin. The Tachlis is always going to come back to a place of realizing that no matter how high up the rungs of spiritual growth I go, I will always come back to the fact that no matter how high the tzimtzum, the din, the body, the concealment, all of those things are, the light of HaKadosh Baruch Hu is higher, the light of Avram is higher, the light of Chesed is higher. It's always about more goodness, and it comes about by way of the intensification through concealment, but the concealment is never the tachlis of the zach. The tachlis of the zach is the goodness, the joy, the emergence of functionality, of stability, of facing reality with a yes-kite rather than a no-kite, and it's revealing that. It's the secret of the Bina that's revealing that there will always be a need for Chachma. And that's why Rabbi Yossi, the Gvuros, is now comfortable saying that yes, Malchus will become the site of growth, Yitzchak will become the site of growth, because I understand that the Gvuros are always going to be inherent within there. It's the secret of that even after Tchias HaMesim, they're going to need the walking stick, that the human being can never be perfect. Metzias is never perfect. Only HaKadosh Baruch Hu is perfect. And every ceiling that we reach is just the revelation of another floor. And every Sharnun is just the revelation of another Nun Sharm. Ad Ein Soif Mamish. Ad Ein Soif Mamish. After the 7th millennia, after the 8th, the 9th, the 10th, as we enter into the unfathomable places where the mind is broken and the heart is broken to try and even grasp anything whatsoever, what we know about Emunah Shlema is that Kedushasi Lamala Mikdushaseichem, that a person can be Moiser Nefesh on. Kedushasi Lamala Mikdushaseichem. And that's why he says that even though they're going to grasp them in their minds and in their hearts, it's keilu chazile be'ena. It's only as if they grasped it in their eyes. Haveyu dichsiv, as the pasuk says, va'amar bayom hahu, on that day, that ancient day in the future, hine elikenu zeh kivinu lo. Each and every person is going to look, and with their fingers, and they're going to point with full das. But we're seeing here that the full das and the finger pointing and the revelation that it's truly here is also at the very same point just the keilu, that it's as if I know HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's as if I'm yearning for HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and the yearning is the secret of transforming my as if into something real, in the secret of liyeshuascha kivisi Hashem, and that Yeshua that pulls me out of hell, as the Ramchal says, that hell that Yitzchak Avinu encounters, and the Zohar Kadosh says that confrontation with the hell that opened up underneath Yitzchak's feet when he encountered that secret of Esav, was the most pachad that any creature, anything had felt ever, even from the Zman of the Akedah. And it's specifically there that we could be mamtik Gehenim, because it's specifically in Gehenim that the Suda of Levyasan is going to take place, that the Schoik of the Levyasan is going to take place, when we can look at the walls of Gehenim and realize that, fine, it's very strong, but there's one thing that can break free from all of this, and it's the only thing that I've always known, and it's the secret of Teshuka, and Kivoy, Lishuascha Kivisi Hashem. Yitzchak is born out of Chuka. Yitzchak is born out of hopeless hope. Yitzchak is born out of a laughter of impossibility, and it's specifically from there that the growth takes place. And it's in that place that the fires of Gehenna are going to be nimtak, and the secret of the Suda of La'asid Lavo, when the body, which is the Gehenna, is going to be revealed to be the site of the burning heart that finds HaKadosh Baruch Hu on the level of Ki'ilu, in the place of Bina. V'amar bayom hahu hinei yeshalokeinu zeh. The simchas haneshama beguf yeser mekulam. And the highest level of joy that will take place in that moment, the highest, is the unification of the soul within the body, of the light within the vessel, of the expansion within the concealment, of the unlimited within the limited, of the overwhelming feelings of experience within the boredom of experience, all of the metaphors that we can imagine. The deepest joy is going to be the joy of the neshama with the guf, that secret of the etzem haluz, that secret of base el, that secret of peni el, the ability to see the innermost point of all things. Achi shneim kayamim, that both are going to come alive again together. V'yedu v'yasigu as bayram, and they're going to come to know and grasp their creator, v'yehenu meziv hashchina, and they'll be benefiting from the shine of the Shechina. And even though it's the highest level imaginable, it's still just the ziv of the Shechina, because it's Torah Hashem Tamima and Kedushasi l'malam Kedushasechem v'zehu ha'toiv haganuz l'tzadikim, and this is the goodness that is concealed and hidden away for the tzadikim, meaning it's accessible to us right now. La'asid lavo, for that future that is perpetually arriving. V'haveyu d'chsev ve'elu Toldos Yitzchak ben Avram. This is the secret of the generations that come forth from Avram, the secret of the over unification of chesed and infinitude and goodness that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is perpetually revealing. It only comes about through his toldo, which is Yitzchak. What does this mean? Eluhim toldos hasimcha v'hastoik. This is the genealogy of laughter, learning how to laugh, learning how to go through the concealment, to learn how to see the light on the other side, through the breakdown of seriousness to come to playfulness, for the concealment to give birth to revelation, etc., etc., etc. This Torah is kepatish yafusut sela. Each and every person can find themselves in the Zohar Kadosh, in every line of the Zohar Kadosh, but especially in the life, in the light of Yitzchak HaTzadik. This is the Toldos of the Simcha and the Schoik Shia Ba'olam Ba'osis Man. It's Ben Avraham, it's the son of Avram, the light of Chesed, which is the neshama, which merits to ascend over and over, specifically from the body itself. This is the secret of Avram, is Hoylid, it's Yitzchak, that the light always gives birth to the darkness, that the neshama is always Moilida HaSimcha VaSchoik B'Zeh Ha'olam, even though the body is the one that's perpetually pushing it upwards over and over. We have in this very delicate balance of the body reaching its limit, coming to the place of realizing that it is the place in which HaKadosh Baruch Hu reveals itself, that Tzimtzum, Yitzchak, Bina, all of those elements, and then coming to terms with the fact that the entire Tachlis is to just reveal more light, more Avram, more Yom, more Giloi, more Kedushasi L'malam Mikdushasechem, more Amuna, Anacha Nakuda of Amuna, and that's where the Simcha of La'asad Level comes from, and that's the Simcha that is already taking place within our minds, readily accessible when we choose to listen to the murmurings of the heart, to live with the secret that even in the future it's going to be Ki'ilu. Kal V'chomer, now it's just Ki'ilu, and through that owning of Ki'ilu, which is the Gematria of Bina, we go into the secret of Yitzchak, and we uncover the Schoik of La'asad Level, the Sha'ashuim that are always unfolding within our hearts, when we come to understand the secret of Tzimtzum, which is that it's Tzimtzum that is the revelation, and to be mamsik, the Tzimtzum, to be Megala, the Schoik HaElyon, which the Tzemach Tzedek says, is more of a hiskalus of the infinite light of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and to be Zoichet to Vias HaMashiach, Bepratius, Beklolius, and that Klal Yisrael should have a Hamtakas HaNefesh and Hamtakas HaGuf, and that everything should be good, Betekef Umiyad Mamish, Lamata Me'asar Tfachim.